Hey guys, good evening everyone. Welcome to our daily stock market insights where we talk about your requested stocks. Okay, I have my comment section here of my channel, and this is how I'm getting your requests, guys. So if you are dropping your comments here, I always make sure that I prioritize your requests. It could come from my latest videos and or my posts here. So all these stocks I have already listed down uh, on my magic notepad. Okay, and these are the stocks I will be covering in my discussion today. Okay, I just want to touch on a comment here from Jomar Bernas. Hi, Miss JD. How do you set your cut loss? You mentioned on your past video you bought BDO at 100 plus. Do you already cut your losses? Thanks. Hoping for your response. Okay. Just to answer your question, Jomar BDO is one of my picks for long term, and if it continues to dip, I will be buying some more, and I'll just wait for that confirmation of a bounce. We'll discuss that later on, and I'll find out which area I could possibly buy some more. At the same time, so that answers your question. I will not be cutting my loss there because this is one of the stable companies in the market, so it's best for long term. And how do I cut my loss? Okay, I have two important things that I do before I engage in any trade. So I have to identify first if this stock is just merely for trading or this stock is for long-term investing. For stocks that I am only trading, I don't trade if I'm not able to watch the market. Okay, because I need to ideally I should be able to exit within the day. I don't really wait for a big profit for me to exit because that's just for trading. And just in the event, okay, just in the event I get in a stock and I'm not able to cut my loss early because I don't want to lose a big chunk of my hard-earned money. Two things: I have to make sure I cut my loss early, or if I fail to do that, I wait for it to recover or add some more volume. Considering that this stock I'm trading is something that I believe in, because it's also very important that we believe in all the trades that we have, even if that is only for trading purposes, not for long term. I still read the fundamentals and all the possible biases that I have before I engage, so that uh, my conviction is stronger. But ideally, I would cut my loss early for all the transactions I have for trading purposes. Okay, right. I hope I was able to answer your question. And all the stocks that I'm currently holding, I have. So I've mentioned this several times. I have DITO, I have BDO, JFC, SMC, and Tech. So all these are all for long term, and except for Tech, I am mid to long term there. So I think if I'm able to gain um, good good profit for Tech, I think I don't have to wait for that long anymore. I have set. I'll discuss that later on because anyway I'll be covering Tech. I will set my. I know I shared this in my previous video. My threshold for my cut loss levels for Tech. Key. All right, so this is how I pick your stocks, guys. Go ahead and drop a comment in case I have not covered your stock in today's discussion. Okay, so just remind me because I have not also checked Tech, and I'll see if I need to cut my loss there. Because among all the five stocks that I'm currently holding, Tech is my only stock that is for mid range trading. All right, let's start with the index here. Okay, so for our PSEI, okay, so PSEI does not look good at the moment. As you can see here, we are moving below the MA20 line. Even though there is a support in this area here, in case if this gets broken, that might trigger some more declines in the coming days. Oh, I remember another thing. There was also a comment about how parallel is the Philippine market to the US stocks here. From Kyle. Hello, Miss JD. I have a curious question. Will the Philippine stock market be greatly affected if the US stock market crash? I'd have to say there is a big possibility. Just the earlier today, I created a comparison, and this is what it looks. This is how it looks like. Just looking at the S&P 500 alone, S&P. Okay, so if you are to look at the monthly, okay, this just to show how parallel the movements are. Okay, look at that. This is now on a monthly chart. There is a big positive correlation between both markets. So, in other words, if the global market or the US market is bullish, there's also a big chance that we are following that trend. However, what's different with the Philippine market is that from 2015 to 2019, um, while US stocks or the US index is really on a bull run, we have big dips in our correction. And so I'd have to say, to answer your question, if the US or the global market is affected and let's say becomes bearish, then there's a big possibility that we will also be affected. In fact, the impact to us is we are more sensitive, more in yeah we are more sensitive in the movements of in yeah we're the movements in the Philippine market is more sensitive to whatever is happening globally, because between the two, the US economy is stronger or more stable than the Philippine market. So if the US market is already experiencing some bearish movements, then expect the same behavior in the Philippine market. Okay, so that is to answer your question. Now, looking at this right now, um, there's a big possibility that now that we're moving below the MA20 line, we ended with a red candlestick today, so this could also mean a possibility that we will be revisiting the 6,113 level. Let's see if it will create some stabilization the same way it did here before it goes up again. Otherwise, it's not going to look good if it breaks this level, because that would also mean we might go back to the 5,000 level. Okay, there you have it. So one thing I can say right now is that with the drastic increase in the COVID cases day in and day out, that has a domino effect in how the market is going to move in the coming days. And like before, we're only trending in the hundreds for new cases of COVID-19. We're now running around, 2,000 levels in the daily recorded cases. So, my recommendation here is that I'm not saying you would also have the same mindset as how I'm playing the market right now. I suggest that we should all be a little bit conservative in how we are choosing the stocks we're engaging with. Okay, even if that is just purely for trading or long-term investing, we have to take the time in really looking at the fundamentals. Are these stocks going to survive given that we have a prolonged extension, or we have uh, the pandemic ongoing, okay, with quarantine or with social distancing in place? How does this impact the company you are engaging with? Do they have revenue, or is it totally shut down right now? So those are the things you have to consider when engaging in a stock, be it long term or just purely for trading. Okay, So now let's take a look at the individual stocks that you have requested, because this does not really influence your individual stock. It's just the index, a representation of how the blue chip companies are performing. So there's still individual differences looking at the individual stocks. Okay, let's take a look at this stock. First would be Ali. Ali showed a doji right here. The doji is like your cross, and we ended much higher than the previous one. A doji, when a doji comes out at the support level, it could also mean a possible shift in direction. So you previously had a decline, and with a doji and the green candlestick today, that could mean we will have some more bounce or positive movements in the coming days. Let's use 32 as our support level. VLL. VLL, um, there was a question, is it good to invest in VLL for long term? This is a question from, do a control F. Hello. For long term, what your insights for VLL? Okay. Um, I'd have to say, let's take a look at number one. We have to take a look at their retained earnings. Look at their, there's you can look at PSE Edge and see where they are at in terms of their finances. And I'd say if you're for long term for VLL, this is a real estate company, right? And I think uh, it will still be it is still good to invest at this period for VLL. This could also be a good stock for long-term investing, especially because it has declined significantly. And I think this is already a good and discounted price if you are to yeah if you come to think of it. Okay, you have already entered at a very good timing, because anyway you're for long-term investing. The worst it could drop would be, I feel that we have already reached the bottom right at this level. So if you're not in a hurry to take profit, in case it drops again to the 3.05 level, I'd say yeah, just buy some more. But I feel overall, we might be facing a possible bounce already. And this, if you see another green candlestick, because right now it's a doji, if you see a green candlestick, I'd say this is already a good time to add some more volume, because you have already reached somehow near the bottom. And if it drops some more, I feel that it will drop up to 3.05, that being the ultimate bottom. And considering you're for long term, there is also, in due time, we don't know. Uh, the only thing we're waiting for right now is really if the vaccine gets released, or they discover that vaccine, everything could go back to normal. And besides, this is a property sector. Um, some of those people who have the funds, they take advantage of this opportunity, because apart from the stock being so cheap, they could be buying some more, or some more properties in this period of time, because they could get it at a much cheaper price. I'm not sure if there's they have some promos, right? But uh, the main uh, the main product they're selling is not perishable, right? Land will just appreciate in value, and the stock right now is on a very discounted amount. And another thing, well, 0.26, they give out dividends as well. So yes, I'd say this is a yes for long-term investing. HLCM. HLCM, I feel that this is already testing the bottom that we already have. We previously touched this level. You see that? This is a support area. When I look to the left, there was a consolidation that happened in this range. And let us see if we put that on a weekly chart. See that? And let's try to see. Okay, but we are not showing any bullish divergence yet. Okay, so I would have to say October. Oh, this is the one. This is the point here on a weekly chart from here. So somehow it's already a bullish divergence. Okay, yeah, this is already bullish divergence, but I'm not saying you get in right away, okay? Not yet, because it's still showing red. Wait for a confirmation that we are indeed bouncing at the 5.75 area before you get in, because we could still stay there at a prolonged period of time, or it could even break this, okay? So for now, wait for a green candlestick to probably come out at the 5.75 and then push the price higher. But I have a feeling be, it could happen soon, given that we already have foreign buying that started to come out here. Another thing, in the daily chart, price was moving downwards. Okay, look at this. Price is moving downwards, and your RSI is already showing bullish divergence. Okay, so it could happen anywhere here. We could have a slight overshoot downwards, but maintain a bullish divergence. That could happen as well. Or given that we had consolidation in this price range or price level, then I feel that it will respect that and accumulate or do sideways here first before it takes off again. Tech. Okay, this is tech. Let me see. I have not seen this earlier. Okay, I'm very near my threshold. I last time mentioned around 7.13, if you can remember it, the tech holders. 7.13 is my threshold, this area. This is my hard stop. It has to bounce here, which is our support area. Hopefully we have that bounce. We almost reached that level when we had this last June 29th, but it respected that level and it bounced, so we did not cut our loss. But here, if it breaks the 7.13, 7.14, then I have to cut my loss. That will be 7 point, I forgot. I think I'm to this level 7.84. That was my average. I can't remember, but I think that was my average price. I know it was lower than 8. So that's an 8% cut loss risk for me. Hopefully it doesn't reach the 7.14 and we bounce. Okay. UPM. United. Wow, there are only 98 trades. And this could it's going to be difficult if you have entered here right at the top, because you only had 98 trades. So it's we don't know if it will reach that level really quickly, because we only have a few participants in this company. So I feel that it will revisit or retest your 0.0043 area before it can recover again, because we are now inside the Bollinger Band. So people took profit. What's interesting here is that only a fraction of this or these trades, um, we only had a few of them took profit. So maybe a lot of two things. Maybe a lot of you guys may have entered at the top, and only a few people were profitable and they exited the trade. So that could also be the story. But I feel that it will revisit the 0.0043. LC. LC had 28 trades. and you are already at the top, this is the resistance that I see. So if you're still planning to get in, guys, this is already a profit taking area. Wait for it to probably retrace before you want to enter, before you can enter again. Okay, so just be extra careful. You only had 28 trades there. So this is, for me, already a FOMO level if you still would like to get in, because people are already wanting to exit at this point. So if it drops, probably the next possible drop would be a 0.0962. Could retest this level, or it could also test the MA20 line. The next one would be MAH. Okay, so still, I'd say it's still a danger zone, but you're already very near your oversold area, or the a cheaper level. So let us see if it will sustain our support at the previous support. There used to be a support here and a resistance here. Let us see if it will hold in that level, considering you have an very near the oversold. But mind you, guys, we can stay at the oversold area or overbought area for an extended period of time. So for now, the reason why I'm plotting it at 1.71 is because I saw this. It used to consolidate in this level before it took off and had a bull run. This one used to be a resistance. So your previous resistance, when we move higher, it could create a support in that level. Okay. Next would be green. Green, okay. I'd say if you're already profitable, consider taking profit because this is bound to retrace some more. The next support that I see is at the 160 level. That's the next support because I saw this consolidating at the 1.60. So who knows? We can just retrace up to that level. Or if it breaks that, then it's a different story again. It might drop up to this point, 1.35. Green WLCON. WLCON is retesting your MA20 line, so let us see if it will sustain that and bounce at that level. Okay, so let us check. If it breaks this level, let's say it starts at around 15.79 and pulls the price lower by tomorrow, then it could possibly drop at the previous support again. There you have it. 14.92. What's interesting now is there's a 1.67 million on buying, foreign buying. So maybe foreign investors are looking at it as a cheap level. Okay, could be, right? Just take note of those areas of focus. Next would be, oh, have I talked about green? Yeah, I already did. NI, these are new stocks. Ni hao minerals. Even though this is a green right now, this could also mean a sign of weakness. Okay, guys. We only had 87 trades there. So I feel that if it will push the price higher, the best that you can reach would be 1.44, and it could possibly drop and retrace. So if you're already profitable, you may have entered somewhere here. Consider taking profit as the price goes near 1.45, or if tomorrow it starts pulling the price downwards. Worse if it crosses the MA20 line, because that means it's really going to break down in price. GMA7, okay. This one I'd have to say there's really no program specific or company specific movements or projects that may have caused the significant change in price. It's just a reaction to what happened in ABS. Okay, so like I mentioned in my previous video, this I don't think this will sustain for a long time. In fact, it manifested in just one day. it pushed the price higher, trapping all the newbies there because probably they may have entered at a high price, only to end the day with a decline. So I feel that because we had a gap up that happened today, there will be some more declines in the coming days. It will fill that gap. We could end here and bounce, or we could go back to uh, the 5.27 or 5.29 area. Where is that? It could, yeah, it could revisit the 5.43 first before, because we had this resistance in this level. Okay, so just be extra careful, guys, because people will be taking some more profit by tomorrow to fill that gap. MWC. MWC could also mean some more movements going up, but take note that you have a resistance built in this level. Okay, so consider, consider your next moves first, because the risk to reward ratio is not in its ideal state right now. You only have a few percent to watch out for as your possible gain there against your possible decline of 9% against the gain of 3%. So you have higher risk than a reward, right? So maybe what you can do here is, if you have a confirmed breakout of this resistance, that's when you enter. Otherwise, wait for it to retrace very near your MA20 line around 12.95. Okay, two things here: wait for a breakout and enter, or wait for it to retrace and enter upon bouncing. Bloom. Okay, Bloom is very near a resistance. This is the resistance that we see at the moment. Okay, um, look at this. While we move the price higher, okay, do you see this? While the price is moving higher, your momentum in your RSI is declining. That means people feel that we are starting to reach at an expensive level. So I feel that if it will touch the 8.21 level again, um, we might experience some rejection there. But hopefully, uh, who knows, we can have a gap up and start the price at 821 and push the price higher. Then that's a different story, because you now have broken the resistance. And once you break a resistance, you have a uh, momentum play. Your previous resistance can now become a support. We can have a movement that looks like this: push the price higher, revisit the support, and then continue moving higher. There you have it. Okay, so those are your possibilities. Next would be SMPH. SMPH is not looking good. Okay, as you can see here, SMPH is uh, respecting your MA20. Okay, so this is a Bollinger Band. The three lines over here is a Bollinger Band. The center part is a moving average. It's an MA20. Now, each time for the past 4 days, each time that price level is hit, there's a rejection that's happening. So I feel that we might be dropping the price even more by tomorrow, looking at how it ended today. So let's see how it behaves when we reach, let me see the weekly chart. Okay, so we might reach the 29.06 again. Yeah, go back to the daily. It could drop here. Yep, 28.98. Next is BDO. There. Okay, see this? Looks like BDO will give us an opportunity to enter at 86.10. So even though, because my commitment to myself is that every payday I have to set aside to buy some more shares. And looks like if tomorrow it does not reach 85.83 yet, I will have to wait. Put that buying power readily available so that when I see a confirmation, because I feel that it will revisit 85.83, and that's where I want to see a confirmation bounce, and I enter. Probably something like this. Okay, if I see this happening, I'd have to enter again this level, something that looks like this. Okay, but if it touches this level yet, that's not a go signal. It's not a go signal yet because it's still red. I need to see a green coming out in this level before I enter. Okay, but one thing good, if you're a long-term investor, you will be, that's how I look at things. I will still be able to get this at a cheap level, at a discounted price. Next is MBT, another good company here, but it's just so bearish right now. Okay, we can even project the price dropping at 33.70 area where you had your previous low over here. So just hold on to your buying power as we feel that this price level will still be lowered. What about home? Let's take a look at home. Home is also starting to trigger your lower Bollinger Band here, right? It's triggering that lower Bollinger Band. So I feel that it might test your previous resistance. Okay, so how do we screen that? Look to the left. As you go down, do you see consolidation? And yes, we do see a consolidation in this level. Okay, so 6.20 area. That's the next possible bounce. Again, do not enter as it reaches 6.20. Wait for a confirmation. Something like this. For instance, it dropped here. You wait for that green candlestick to come out, and that's the time you enter. Normally, it's best for a bounce play would be best to enter like almost end of day. At least you have 80% of the picture ready. The next one is Dito. Okay, I'm also a holder of Dito, but I'm not hyping this, guys. Okay, it's up to you. As for Dito, looks interesting here. We this could possibly bounce in this level because 2 days straight we ended there. You also had some consolidation in this level over here to the left. So we might be respecting that. Let me just pull it down further downwards around 2.91. Okay, so I think it will just move within this range, just waiting for that volume to accumulate. Okay, so notice here what's interesting. So let me see. Okay, so we move downwards here, and as we move further downwards, the volume here is also declining. So that means people are no longer exiting, but the big hype here of all the exits happened during this period, which is around this period. Okay, so that was the massive decline along with the volume, and right now only have a few people exiting the trade. So I feel strongly about the 2.91. Maybe we will be stabilizing there and start to push the price higher after that. Um, if it breaks, okay, 2.55 or yeah, 2.50 around 2.50 level will be the next drop around that 249. Okay, so the condition is it should hold at this level 2.91 and then bounce, otherwise we will experience some more hit and end at 2.49. Now looking at now, okay, the short-term resistance here is right at the 250 level, 249 250 area. That's your next resistance because we saw this. You know what's interesting right now is this big volume here as we push the price higher, and we're also triggering the upper Bollinger Band. So two things, maybe You know what's a much better picture here is when it breaks out of this resistance that we drew or we plotted and create a gap up, and then normally it does this and then create a new support there. Okay, so two ways of playing the stock: wait for a breakout play or wait for it to retrace at the MA20 line, which is around 216 or yeah 218 level. But know that you're very near a short-term resistance in this level here. JFC, okay, this is one of my long-term picks as well. Okay, so we managed to bounce today. So this is already for me a confirmation of a bounce because this is a green engulfing candlestick. The body is much bigger than the previous red. So also it created this support in this level. Just be extra careful because you still have your MA20 line over here. So you're not 100% safe yet. It could reject that level again if people will be taking profit. So short-term resistance would be 145.38. Mary Mart. Okay, Mary Mart is still respecting this support that we have plotted. If it continues to break the 2.93, then I don't know, it could even drop some more. Okay, so for now we are plotting the support because it is still respecting this price range. Each time it touches this level, you see some bounce happening. By the way, we have a 2.94 million on foreign buying. That could mean something as well. So let's just establish support at the 2.93. HLCM, I already did that. What about VITA? VITA is not looking good. Okay, each time your resistance or your MA20 line is hit here, there's a rejection. In fact, for this day, it did not even reach the resistance area, and we had some more declines. So I feel that it will drop some more at the 0.80 level. That is the next possible support. Hopefully, we will just maintain the same movement here. Overall, if you were to look at it, we're just moving sideways with some waves, big waves last June, right? Pushing the price higher, but it did not really sustain the improvement in price. So 0.80 is our nearest support that I'm looking at. Next is MB. MB. Oh, what is this? Why is there? Why do we have a significant change in price? Quarterly reply to inquiry unusual price movement. Wow. 1,000. I don't see any. December, March, retained earnings, 238 million. Okay, but that was March. 80% of the coverage is. Oh, this is what? Annual? Oh, quarterly. So it's just for the quarter. Net income. At least they have positive net income and positive retained earnings. So that means they still had gains. But notice there's not much. Okay, so looking at the performance, historical performance, whenever they encounter a big jump in the price, it does not really sustain in the long term perspective. Okay, it only runs for a few days and then there's profit taking. So I would have to say this is a ceiling play. We could push the price some more, but make sure you're able to watch the market full time because yes, 30 minutes to a few hours, first 2 hours probably it could move the price higher, but uh, maybe tomorrow before the day ends, people will be taking profit. You can never tell. Similar to how GMA 7 did today, it pushed the price higher, right? It started here, pushed the price higher within the day, only to take profit. Okay, so that's my uh, guidance for you guys. Okay, we might push the price higher again, and people will take profit towards the latter part of the day. So just be extra careful. All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I have answered a few questions. Okay. So first question I have answered. Um, how do I cut my losses? I have to make sure that I only believe in the stocks that I engage in, be it for trading or long term investing, so that when it dips, I don't feel too nervous. Now, if I'm only trading a particular stock, my commitment to myself is really to watch the market full time so that I can cut loss early. Just in any case, I fail to cut my loss early, and the way I'm doing this may not be followed by everyone. I'm not even encouraging you to follow it. So if I'm not able to cut my loss early, I either do a cost averaging or I wait for it to recover, right? So, and in terms of size, trading sizes, or yeah, the amount I trade, I'm very conservative in the amounts I trade. For trading, only small amounts, but for long term investing, that's where I put more funds. Okay, so as for tech, I already mentioned my cut loss level is around five. What is that? 7.14 level, 7.13 area. So that's my threshold. So tomorrow, let us see if it will respect that. Otherwise, I'm bound to cut my loss. 8.80 is still okay for me because the amount I traded there is not that much anyway. But for BDO, it's for long term. I'm excited to add more volume if it in case it touches the 85.83 area. It's triggering the lower Bollinger Band, so I feel that we might see some more declines. Okay, so that's sale for me. Okay. What else? Okay, I think I've answered all your questions. Feel free to drop a comment if you have some more questions. Oh, by the way, just to recap, DLL, my takeaway as well for to answer who was that? Renzo, to answer your question, VLL for me is still good for long term. You have taken advantage of a big decline in price, which means a sale price. Okay, so that's a good opportunity to start accumulating. Anyway, you're for long term. The business model, that's property. The product they are endorsing is not perishable. It does not depreciate. So probably now the amount is they could, in terms of how the business is performing, they could have some discounted properties. But talking about long term, the value of the property people will be investing right now or buying right now will just appreciate in value. The stocks per se, you will be getting it at a discounted price. So when everything goes back to normal, it'll just recover. It will just shoot up in the same manner when it declined. It has declined significantly in just a few days. So I'd have to say for VLL, it's still okay. Still okay price. You're in a price level that's still very very cheap. Okay. In the meantime, guys, don't forget to drop a comment for any questions that you have. I will be answering that in uh, our daily insights. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like if you like the video. Bye bye for now.